Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to a review, and a review that I've been looking forward to for quite a while. I've been reviewing this unit and putting it through its paces for at least a couple of weeks now, and I've been looking forward to actually producing this video. So today we're going to be checking out the DS220j. You can see the box here, and it's a NAS from Synology. Now Synology, you've probably heard of, especially if you're in the UK. I think, if you've been Googling to purchase a NAS or anything about that, you've probably come across their website, and they make quite a wide variety of solutions depending on what you need and what you don't need and whatever. And today we're going to be checking out the DS220j, which is kind of marketed as an entry-level, super easy to use out-the-box solution, and we're going to be looking at that today. And I'm going to be giving you my opinions, and I'm going to be telling you sort of how it's held up over the period of time that I've been testing it. So let's talk a little bit about the specs. I'm pulling it up on my phone here because I'm just going to briefly scroll through and mention the things that I think people are going to be wanting to know. So first of all, we have a 64-bit CPU. That's to be expected. It's a 4-core, 1.4 gigahertz, 412 megabytes of memory. This particular model has 2 bays, which means it can hold 2 hard drives internally. You have one and then one on top. You'll see I've probably got a video floating somewhere which shows you the insides. It's super easy to mount them. It took me like 5 seconds. What I will say is, through this whole process, I pretty much never had to look at the book on how to do anything, which is kind of incredible. So the out-of-the-box entry-level NAS that they market it as, I have to agree with. It's compatible with 3.5 SATA hard drives, which I have 2 terabytes in it at the moment. You can also do 2.5-inch, but there's a disc holder or something that you need to buy, which I think is like an extra add-on. I'm not entirely certain. But it can support those as well. Not sure if you guys will see it on the video because it's quite far away. But on the back, we have 2 USBs. They're both 3.0s. It has a LAN and it has a security connector as well. And obviously its power port is on the back as well. There's, apart from the power button on the front, there's nothing really on the front. So it's a very simple unit. You can't really go wrong with it. So we're going to talk a little bit about the build quality and the unit itself. This is the unit. It's very, very small. And in fact, if you were to, this is a 5.5-inch phone, I believe, and put it side by side, you can see that it stands pretty much the same size. It's a pretty small unit, but that's good because we want it to fit within a home pretty much. We don't want it to be this huge whirring machine in the corner of the room. That's not what we want. So yeah, overall I'm pretty happy with the size, although I was surprised at how small it is, but I like that. There is a power button. Where is it? There's a power button just here, and as far as I'm aware, that's the only button on the actual front of the unit. You have LED indicators down here, or up here, sorry, which basically flash green. If everything's going well, they basically flash green or are green. You can manually change the brightness of those LEDs as well. So if they're in an area that's quite distracting, you can turn the brightness down so they're not completely just bombarding you with lights. And then we have the back, and I don't know if you guys can see from there, but we have 2 USB ports which are 3.0s. We have a LAN connection. Obviously it's power input, and we have a security. If we look here, this little area there is for one of those security cables to connect as well. So really good for small businesses. Home users probably aren't going to use that much, but it is there if you want it. Yeah, it's very user friendly. It's been designed very, very well. Obviously it has quite a large fan on the back, or exit for the fan on the back, which is nice. And that's pretty much it. So yes, it says the DS220j on the front. Other than that, that's pretty much the unit. Very, very simple. Let's talk a little bit about the software. Now this is probably the most important part of a NAS. They've streamlined the process, and it's a really it's quite an enjoyable experience. I wasn't frustrated once. It was all super easy to navigate. So the first thing you'll see is sort of your welcome screen. It's a login screen, right? And if you've gone through the process of installing your NAS, you will have created an account. The first account created will be an admin account. So you'll be an admin, and you'll log in, and the portal itself to log in can actually be customized. There's a lot involved in the software, so I highly encourage you to explore it. Don't be too scared of it, just explore it, look around. If you've gone through the process of installing your NAS, you will have an account, you'll be the admin, so log in and just look around. So as admin and as somebody who's running a NAS like this, one of the most useful things is user accounts, right? Being able to access accounts, see what people are doing and create them, and that's one of the main areas that I think is of the most importance. So for example, I have quite a few family members, and each of them I have created an account for. All of those accounts have passwords. You can go into the settings and you can change it so they have to change their password every so often for security reasons. You can disable that if you want. You don't even need passwords necessarily, I don't think, but I'd highly advise setting at least a simple one. But in that area of the software, you can basically tweak every single person's user account. So if there's an app that you don't want somebody to be able to access, you can do that. If you don't want people to be able to log in, but you want them to be able to access like a video app, like Video Station or DS Video, you can do that. There is a lot you can do. You can also create groups, which allows you to say, maybe group family members together, maybe group, if you've got young kids, you can group those together as well. And that allows you to really tailor the experience to each account. There's bandwidth things as well, and speeds that you can tweak for each person. But I think for home users, the important thing there is having users only be able to access the files you want them to be able to access. There's files on here that are basically just for, say like my video editing. I don't want people to be able to look at those and to tweak those. I only want people to be able to access, the movies and the TV shows, right? For example, so that is going to be either a specific account privilege or a group privilege. These are all things that you can tweak. So it's a highly useful area, and you'll probably as a home user be using that a fair bit. So obviously the shared folder is, within the software, the shared folders and the file station and that sort of thing is obviously the main thing. This allows you to change obviously what files are accessible on the network to various devices, to various people. It's by far, it's what a NAS is all about, so that is the most important area. All in all, it works really, really well. I've moved, I think, somewhere in the region of 500 to maybe a terabyte worth of content in like the last week alone. I've been doing a lot of file movements, and it's worked flawlessly. I've never had an issue. I've never had to disconnect or reconnect or nothing like that. It's just worked incredibly well. A lot of those files were downloaded straight to a shared folder. Other files were on my PC first and I've moved them over. But in general, it's been absolutely flawless. The UI just makes everything super, super easy. No complaints at all. So another area that I think is really important, and I think if you're using this as a media hub, you definitely need to download it, and that's Video Station. Now, Video Station is a program which you can install to the NAS, and it'll end up being on your home page. But basically, it then becomes an accessible app to all the accounts created on your NAS. It's fantastic. It basically creates a program, kind of like Netflix or Prime, where you can browse all of your programs and movies and anything else you've got. And it just basically tarts it up a bit and it makes it look like a legit program. And if you're connecting, say, like in my case, a mini PC which is connected to my TV, it allows me to browse all of my TV shows, all of my movies, just like I would be browsing them on Netflix or Prime. It's fantastic. Another thing that I highly recommend you do is going over and grabbing yourself an API key for IMDB or the movie database. You have to apply, you have to put in some details, but you'll pretty much instantly get an API key back. When you use this API key, effectively what it does is it allows you to pull data from the Internet Movie Database about TV shows and movies, and it will fill it all out for you. Because what you'll notice is when you first go into Video Station and you're looking at your movies, for example, is they're blank. It'll have the name, but it'll have the name that you've named it, and it won't have a front cover, it won't have a description, nothing. So in order to have your Video Station work the best, I highly advise you to get an API key, and then what will happen is it will automatically generate movie front covers, movie titles, and all the information about the movie, from its release date to the directors to the people starring in it to the description, even down to the reviews and the ratings out of 5. It will pull all of that from the internet, and it will really make your program look just so much better. Without it, it will still work, and for a short while that's how we were watching stuff. But if you really want it to look good, I highly advise you get an API key. So overall, I'm really impressed with Synology, and I'm really impressed with the DS220j. I can't really find any fault or flaw with it, and that's kind of annoying because I know then it just makes this video sound like an advert. But genuinely, if there was something wrong with it, I would tell you. As with all my videos, these reviews are truthful, and there's not really been anything majorly wrong that I can tell you about. In fact, there's not really been anything wrong at all. One thing I noticed was when you're watching your videos through Video Station, there is a disconnect between different machines. So I can watch half an episode, for example, on my phone, but then when I go onto the TV and resume, it doesn't know where I've finished watching. So it's almost like it's locally stored to the machine as opposed to the login account, which is a little bit odd. Maybe that's just a setting I haven't found, or maybe that's just something I'm doing wrong. But yeah, it doesn't remember where you are on different machines. The machine works really, really well, and when you're scrubbing or fast forwarding or whatever through videos, again, it's super quick. I even cast my phone to the TV at one point just to see if it had any negative sort of performance issues, and there wasn't. Now obviously that's largely going to be down to the devices you're using and locations and whatever else, but I wanted to see how it handled wirelessly sending the video to my phone and then streaming that video from my phone to the TV, and it did it. I think we watched a film which was about 2 hours 40 minutes long, and it buffered maybe once or twice, and literally the buffer loading icon appeared and then went away again, and it did that twice. I wouldn't even say it negatively affected the viewing experience. However, when you're streaming directly from this to the TV or to any other device, it never buffers. I haven't had it buffer once. I've watched tons of TV shows, I've watched really long movies. It's insanely quick, and even if you're watching a movie that's like almost 3 hours long and you click halfway through, it immediately loads. So I have zero issues with this. As a media hub, which is why I contacted Synology and said, could you help? Would you send something to review? As a media hub, I don't think I could do much better than this for the price. It is so good. Price wise as well, this is going to set you back about 150 for the unit, and then however much you spend on your hard drives will hugely affect the price. This particular setup here is around £300. Half of that is the Synology NAS itself, and the other half is hard drives. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I want to say a huge thank you to Synology for sending me this unit and supporting the channel. This is not an advert, they haven't paid me to say anything. They've simply sent me a product for me to review on their channel, and I cannot thank them enough for supporting me early on in my channel's sort of career, So a huge thank you to Synology for sending the NAS and the hard drives inside, and a huge thank you to everybody who has watched this video and liked and subscribed. And even if you haven't subscribed, or even if you haven't liked, just thank you so much for watching this video. It really, really helps me out. I tried to make this video a little bit better quality. As you can see, if you go back at my previous video, Filming wise, it's a little bit different, and I haven't quite got the audio where I want it yet. This microphone is recording me, and it's, you know, it's not quite where I want it to be quality wise, but visually I'm a lot happier with how my videos are looking. As you can see, there's a different background, there's a different desk and all sorts. So I'm really wanting to push the channel forward, and that's what I'm going to do this year. And yeah, so thank you guys for watching, you're part of that, and subscribe if you want to see where this channel goes. If you've got any products you want to see, let me know. But yeah, thank you so much guys for watching. Thank you Synology, and I will see you in the next video.